I've done an early warning, but like at my own expense. I'm like want to rip their hair out. So far, only one red flag. Woo! Okay, it's literally by accident. Sure, let's keep going. So not a lot of people know this, but I actually played as a transgender character. I cursed the DM, like, dang you! While you're going through this, is have the calculator out on your phone. Each single thing that he describes is either going to add to your score or it's going to be negative to your overall score. Okay, it's going to start with red flags, and then towards the end there's like green flags. Okay, and let me know what you guys get.
D&D red flags. I know this has nothing to do with that dating card game, and this video is a little mini game that I'll test to see how problematic of a D&D player you or anyone you know might be. You'll be asked a series of questions, with each one having a certain amount of red flag points associated with it. Whenever you agree with one, add those points to your total. Later on we'll go through some green flags that are some particularly angelic traits you might possess that can lower your score if you agree with them. So even if you may have a ton of points racked up, there may still be some hope. If you want an honest point count, I'd suggest doing this with someone you play D&D with so you can score each other, but I can't promise you'll be friends afterwards. Feel free to place your score in the comment section below so we can all marvel at how concerning my community's test results are. Quick disclaimer, this quiz assumes you're playing with a newly founded stereotypical group of D&D nerds, meaning the end result
Alright, so I'm gonna hold you to it, okay? So whatever your score is, I want you to post it
before we begin,
in the chat or in the comments down below, okay?
Imagine HelloFresh,
whichever.
but the food is already prepared and ready to eat the moment it winds up at your door.
You gotta get
the
sponsors,
prep
right?
And ensuring a quality food experience every time. As a DM myself, who regularly has sessions go on pause for an hour so everyone can prepare dinner, having delicious, fully cooked meals show up right on game day really can't be beat. Makes it so you can ignore dinner entirely and focus on cramming that extra hour into preparing for a session. Factor has 5 different meal choices.
I don't know about you guys, if you guys cook a lot.
Dietary needs. With
I don't cook a lot because sometimes I get like lazy,
are always used, with every meal being free of hormones.
I wish sometimes it's a little easier just to prep stuff and go. Like I can cook,
prepare the
no problem, but it's just sometimes like
use my
I don't want to make all this mess or find all the ingredients.
And use code POGBLAINE60 for 60% off your first box. Thanks again to Factor for sponsoring the video.
So I'm pretty sure it's gonna start right here.
D&D red flags. Hope you'll enjoy. You've shown up late to sessions without notifying your group ahead of time. Even though you know the campaign schedule, you've yet to set any alarms to remind you when the game's starting. You talk over other members who began speaking before you.
I sometimes
As a DM, you regularly challenge your players with encounters that are polar opposites to what their class features and abilities can deal with. You've read the module your DM intends to run and didn't notify them beforehand. You snuck glances at the DM's campaign note.
Let me know if this I feel like this goes a little fast, so but let me know. I'll slow it down here and there, okay? Let's keep going. Oh, stealing campaign notes, you said?
Or other player character sheets to gain an unfair advantage.
So I haven't done that.
You can't handle character death, and after losing your PC made it everybody else's problem. You usually resort to killing any NPC that gets in your way or has something you want.
Sure.
A bunch of your characters are just slightly altered versions of each other. You made a character or a campaign that appeases your sexual fantasies or kinks without getting the A-OK from your group before.
Yeah, that's weird.
You demand your party fills every important class role, such as a healer, tank, AoE, spellcaster, and skill monkey, even if some players might not be fond of it. You want this camp?
I'm gonna go back on that one because I just want to make sure I understood that one.
You demand your party fills every important class role, such as a healer, tank, AoE, spellcaster, and skill monkey, even if some
you must have the party of 4. This I was gonna say trifecta. Think of MMO, like tank, healer, DPS type of thing, but yeah. I never really forced anybody, but hey, you gotta play this character. I might suggest it, like, hey, we do need a fighter or something like that, but more up to what you want to do. So far, only one red flag. Woo! Okay, it's literally by accident. Sure, let's keep going.
Players might not be fond of it. You want this campaign to be exactly like Critical Role, even if nobody else does.
Everyone sure, I feel like I was guilty of that.
You not only bring nothing, but eat everyone else's food in the meantime. You could easily bring something.
I always provide a snack, so I'm good. I'm good.
Nobody's allowed to touch your miniatures at the table. You're never creative with the actions you take during initiative, constraining yourself to your character sheet's features and never interacting with the world outside of those boundaries.
I don't know if that's a real like bad player type thing, but yeah, I can see that. That's kind of going to like boring combat. You're not expanding on what your character can do and fulfilling that role play. So yeah, I can see that, but at the same time, I can see the other side.
To your character sheet's features and never interacting with the world outside of those boundaries. You blame or scoff at the DM whenever you fail a task in game or an enemy rolls high against your character.
I cursed the DM, like, dang you! But I wouldn't say I blame them.
You're only interested in role-playing when an attractive NPC shows up.
Yeah, nah.
You haven't properly voiced your concerns on the bigger red flags of other members in the campaign, allowing problems to continue festering, all while assuming that you're actually the problem.
That's what we were just talking about earlier, right? Don't bring up the issues of, just bring up the issue if something happens. Have I done that? That's a plus 3 if I've done it. No, I feel like I brought him up, and hopefully, I'm pretty sure I've been the problem player before. I think we all go through it to some extent. So, let's keep going here.
You didn't pay attention when the DM explained the theme of the campaign and wound up creating a character that doesn't fit the adventure at all.
That's kind of me.
You've run a shopping session in-game that lasted way too long, with players dozing off or meddling with their phones during most of the length of it.
Have not done that.
Your group called a short 5-minute break, but you came back to the table half an hour later. It's not that anything important came up, you just found something you thought was more interesting to do.
Yeah, I haven't done that.
As a player, you
I know somebody did that.
Another player character without prior consent from them or the DM. As a DM, you've introduced an NPC to the party that's either—
I was gonna say, I don't mind PvP, so I believe I tried to do PvP one time. So we'll add that to my score. I just thought, hey, why not? It's PvP. This is a PvP channel. I seem to like it, right? So let's go with it. Confused Dragon, you wrote, I've done that. I sometimes let it slide and sometimes let it go. DM PC, what? Oh, DM PC, yeah. If you had, you as a dungeon master have a PC.
Either a Mary Sue or takes way too much of the spotlight away from the other characters.
Haven't done that.
You're always breaking immersion by getting up to do other things, talking about stuff not related to the campaign at all, or not taking anything seriously. As a DM, you regularly forget to let your players level up, with everyone sometimes going months without any character advancement. Without mentioning this to your party beforehand, more than half the length of every session you host winds up being combat. You joined the campaign even though you knew you couldn't regularly keep up with the campaign schedule, constantly missing sessions due to work, school, sleep, or other commitments.
It depends on your group, how serious you're about it. But I was gonna say, kind of hate this. I'd rather find people who for sure are interested than somebody who just wants to try it. But each their own. Let's keep going. I wouldn't say that I've done that though. I haven't done that. I pretty much commit to something that I want to be in. So.
You run every style of game you can think of using D&D just because you can't be bothered to learn a new system.
That's me.
You're scared of copyright infringement in your D&D game, going out of your way to either draw everything in your campaign by scratch or use Creative Commons artwork, even though nobody cares about what you do in your private games. You've taken transgressions against your character as actual out-of-game threats. Your DM thought that using some homebrew or variant rulings would be fun, but you were having none of it. You have a tendency—
I mean, hear that last one again?
Taken transgressions against your character as actual out-of-game threats. Your DM thought that using some homebrew or variant rulings would be fun, but you were having none of it. You have a tendency to hoard items or gold that's normally shared between the party. You try to steal the spotlight for your character whenever you can, even injecting yourself into situations you have no place in. A bunch of your characters—
I feel like I have sometimes hogged the limelight. The mean to. Promise, did not mean to, but maybe it happened.
NPCs are just copies of other characters from popular media, which winds up hurting the party's immersion because they know exactly who your character's supposed to be and all of their backstory.
Yeah, I can see that being kind of problematic,
you do this when the campaign's already started and with everyone
not super horrible
characters in the campaign to be original. You get offended when the casters in the party don't prioritize you with their support abilities.
Yeah, I must heal me first.
Your characters are edgy loners that refuse to cooperate with the rest of the party and never reveal information about themselves.
I think that was like my first character.
The way you roleplay makes it very difficult for others to tell if you're talking in character or not.
What if you can't help it? I'll give myself 1 for that. I don't even know. Just for the fun of it. Let's give myself 1. You wrote something here, a confused dragon. I know someone who did that. The dragonborn monk died and got reincarnated into a high elf and left.
An older or newer edition that refuses to believe players of the other editions know what a fun game of D&D looks like. You're a DM that constantly brags about how strong their big, bad, powerful monsters are, flexing on the party about how dead they'll all be once the fight begins. You let your emotions about energy in real life bleed into the campaign instead of just calling it off for the week. You don't roleplay at all in this fantasy role-playing game.
Oh man.
You run a lot of combats in your campaign that are just wild encounters that slow down the game and have nothing to do with the story. You can't help but always pointlessly meddle with your phone during sessions.
I know plenty of people
You've
do
been
that.
appalled by a player who brought a child character into the game even if it fits with the story and the player isn't trying to be a creep. You've been appalled by a player who brought a character into the game
I've been no
that's
good.
the opposite gender of themselves.
Yeah. So not a lot of people know this, but actually, I'm a male, but I actually played as a transgender character. If you guys want to know that, which character it was, it's on the channel, but I just wanted to step out of my comfort zone a bit and see what would happen. And yeah, very interesting. Unfortunately, we weren't able to finish the full game on the channel at all, but, and only the DM knew. So it was like very hidden. You guys probably could figure it out. I don't like. But moving on.
You abuse game mechanics and loose rulings to break the balance of the game and give yourself an unfair advantage.
Yeah,
You've created unnecessary problems and consequences for players to deal with just...
I mean, I wouldn't say break the rules, right? Is optimizing your character? Yeah, I'm not breaking the rules by optimizing. Nah, we're good.
because you thought it'd be funny or would provoke a reaction. You constantly mistake homebrew for official materials and get upset at other people who don't do the same. You argue with the DM about rulings and refuse to move on until your game knowledge has been validated. Alright, now with your red flag total calculated, let's destroy your entire score with some blood flags.
Alright, let me know what your scores are so far. So right now, I have a 13, so doing pretty good. Okay? Let me know where your scores are at right now.
These are just like red flags, but they're worth a ton more.
Do in the chat
if you're
or
for any of these,
in the comments.
Get some help. You harassed, stalked, or assaulted someone in your group.
Nope.
You've stolen from or secretly searched through another member's personal
That's
belongings.
messed up.
You've threatened other players by saying you'll commit not alive anymore or used mental health issues as leverage to get what you want.
Don't do
you
that.
desperately want a player to fall in love with you both in game and in real life, and will go
no,
as far as ruining
don't do
the
that,
entire
please.
campaign to make it happen. You've killed someone's character because you were upset with something the player did that had nothing to do with D&D. You being racist or discriminatory all had a part to play in ruining the group dynamic. Just like when families come together for Thanksgiving, you were the first to bring up controversial political statements and began an intense argument.
haven't done that.
Alright, and now that all the
People are like, Obama sucks. Okay, anybody. Or Trump, or I'm just throwing personal names out there. Abraham Lincoln sucked, right? Just random political stuff. But I don't want to make this political. We're D&D. Let's go.
the weirdos have been properly squashed, let's allow the normal players a chance to redeem themselves. Once again, if you agree with a green flag, reduce your total by the amount it's worth.
Yeah, so I'm gonna. So I was adding, so I'm not gonna start subtracting. Okay, so always improving. Let's see.
You've been endlessly honing your DM skills.
Yeah,
working
for sure.
on improv, voice acting, world building, and any other
Improv.
skills you can think of, all to improve the game for
They're
your
role playing.
players.
I improve on role playing.
You've been the dungeon master at least once before.
Yeah.
You regularly
I've done
host D&D games and usually offer to DM for anyone who hasn't been a player in a while.
I've done that
As a
a
DM,
bit.
you always listen to the input of your players and try to make reasonable changes based on their requests.
Wait, let me hear the open to feedback. Let me see. Oh, let's not go too far back. Okay, let's try to hear that.
D&D games and usually offer to DM for anyone who hasn't been a player in a while. As a DM, you always listen to the input of your players and try to make reasonable changes based on their requests.
I try.
You cater your party with food and never expect anyone to have to bring their own.
Always
If
do.
the session is being
I got
hosted
proof.
at your house, you always tidy up the place before guests arrive. You've
Got-
sent
must.
crucial informational sheets to campaign members with everything they'll need to know before joining the campaign, just to make sure
I help
everyone's on
them
the same
out.
page.
I wouldn't say
You
I'll
always
give them a bunch
design your
extra.
campaign
No, I
with
do
your
actually.
players and their stories as the central focus.
Yeah, I try to.
You made the death of another character into a seriously emotional and character-evolving experience.
I haven't
You
done
bought
that
a
yet,
gift
but yes.
for another member of your group. You bring
Gift?
up any potential issues
Did I give anybody a gift? I'm trying to think. Yeah, I'm gonna go with yes on that one. I think it was like a +1. Early warning.
or constructive criticism to
Done
other
early
members
warnings.
to ensure the game stays fun for everyone. Alright, and now to label you based on the points you've
I've
accumulated.
done an early warning, but like out of my own expense. I'm like want to rip their hair out. I'm ripping my own hair out, giving them an early warning. I'm like, stop it. And eventually it was Steven and Jared. Steven's more new, he's a goofy guy, and then Jared, he likes to talk with them. And they're like messing around. It's like first time I was like, hey, can you guys relax? You guys, I know you're not part of the action at the moment because they decided to split. My fault. But then I had to come back to them at the second time, and then the third time, and I was like, okay, where are your characters at right now? You guys in the hotel room? Yeah, cool. You guys bouncing on the bed? Yeah, cool. Roll D4. Boom. You fell off the bed. You took that much damage. So I remember doing that. But anyways, let's see.
Deva, you're one of the greatest D&D.
What's going on here? Let's go back a little bit.
Potential issues or constructive criticism to other members to ensure the game stays fun for everyone. Alright, and now to label you based on the points you've accumulated. Deva, you're one.
So I ended off with the 1 again. I think playing for a school club kind of made it limited. Yeah, a little bit, right? There we go.
For everyone. Alright, and now to label you based on the points you've accumulated.
Oh.
Deva, you're one of the greatest D&D players to ever exist. That, or whatever terrible things you've done just weren't covered by the red flags before. Regardless, no group can go wrong having you in the campaign. Pixie, everyone has their quirks, and while sometimes you can be annoying, you do an equal amount of good that balances it out. Goblin, your own greed and self-interest takes precedence over anything else.
So this is above 0.
Too constantly, nobody else can be. Chromatic Dragon. The longer the campaign goes on for, the more every other player gets uncomfortable. Outbursts from you put everyone on edge and get more common until you're...
Yeah, so what was the totals, guys? What was the totals here?
You're a troublemaker by every sense of the word. The second you joined the game, everyone knew it wasn't going to last. Most groups you're in disband, and the only games you can stay a player in are ones hosted by inexperienced DMs that think that they're the problem. Archdevil. Yeah, you're just a menace both in and out of game. This stems farther than just being a bad tabletop role player, but a concerning human being as well. You don't get along with many of the newer members of the community and can only stick around in games filled with people who've amassed an equal number of points. And finally, Asmodeus. Wow, you kept watching this video even after getting a blood flag? Well, all I can hope for is that you don't interact with the D&D community until you get your problems worked out for everybody else's sake. Don't forget to leave your point count in the comments below, like the video if you enjoyed this video format, because I sure had fun making it, and subscribe if you're new. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video.
Alright, awesome. Thank you, Blaine. I feel like the ones with like 100 points, like I feel like some of these are like some, you know, like pretty tough issues. Sometimes mental issues, right? Being just in general, try to get help if that's you. Okay? Be real with yourself. But so yeah, I ended up being, I guess, I sometimes don't know how to pronounce this. Diva. I ended up being an angel. I'm an angel, you guys. Confused Dragon, you said. I thought a 1 would be good. I guess not. No, that is good. So they were saying that that was the fairy. So it's like you might be a little bit annoying. Okay, that's what you said.
Regardless, no group can go wrong having you in the campaign. Pixie, everyone has their quirks, and while sometimes you can be annoying, you do an equal amount of good that balances it out. Goblin.
Yeah, so you did good. You're just a little annoying, okay? Just a little annoying, Confused Dragon. But you're a great person, okay? We love you. Please don't change. Keep your personality, your attitude, all right? Okay, awesome. Okay, hopefully you guys had some fun with that. I had some fun with that. I thought it was pretty interesting video.